You know, this stuff happens so much, and I wonder when we gonna get tired of it. When is enough gonna be enough? I first heard about this story a couple weeks ago. I saw a clip of a news interview, and this female officer, I don't know if she was an officer associated with the police, this white lady, explaining this situation, saying how this cop, after telling this lady to get this pot of water, boiling pot of water, I'm not sure, hot pot of water, off the stove so they didn't have a fire. And he goes around the counter with his gun pulled out, and she ducks down and he shoots her. And when I first heard it, I was like, nah. Because sometimes these stories be somewhat clickbait. It'll be a questionable situation where the person involved and the officer were both in the wrong. And I didn't want to formulate an opinion on it until I saw the video for myself. And a couple of days ago, I saw the video for the first time. And I was like, let's just say I was in my feelings. Because when I see this lady standing here over this stove, I see my grandma. I see my aunties. I see my cousins. I see somebody's sister. I see somebody's girlfriend, somebody's wife, home alone in the middle of the night, and they call for the police to come help. And even though I seen the first video, what I see on the news, and this is the angle that most people seeing on the news now. Let me break it down a little bit. This is Illinois State Police video. This should be considered public information. It's government documents. Government documentation. This should be considered public information. I didn't get it from a news site. I didn't get it from some off-brand site. I didn't get it from somebody's channel. This is from the Illinois State Police. This is their channel. This is what they put out. This is the body cam footage. And I say this is the angle that most people are getting, because what I found out is apparently these officers in Illinois, they have two body cams. One with audio and one without audio. This is the one with audio. Let me go ahead and put the closed caption on, because their closed caption is a little bit more refined than the closed caption I've seen on some of these other news channels and whatnot. And if seeing this video, because I know a lot of people, they don't like watching stuff like this. They can't watch certain things. It's hard for them to watch. It's hard for me to watch. I gotta watch it. I'm a truth seeker. I want the truth. Good or bad, I just want to know the truth. And that's what my channel is about. Just telling the truth. In this video they put out, this is, I guess, full disclosure. They want everybody to know exactly what was on these body cams and what actually happened. Now, apparently, only one officer had his body cam on. Body cams. The officer that actually shot this lady didn't have his camera on. And that's my first suspicion. You are called in for a suspected prowler in this neighborhood. And y'all can look at some of the other videos. It looks like a pretty decent neighborhood. She's got a big, nice front yard, freshly mowed grass, it looks like. So it looks like the place is taken care of. So you're called out for a suspected prowler, and you turn your body, and your body cam is not on. These two guys working together and they're not making sure each one has their body cam on. That's a problem for me. Why are you even wearing it then? Why are you taxpayers spending money if you get to decide when you get to turn it off and turn it on? That's the first issue. This is the body cam with audio, obviously. And I guess apparently it's the primary body cam because it's called Cam 1. Now the one without the audio is called Cam 2. We'll get to that later. This is the angle that most people are seeing. Now I'm going to play this clip, and I don't know exactly what the whole rules and regulations are with YouTube. This should be considered public document. I'm going to say it anyway. Fair use, fair use. This is for educational purposes only. Now, at this point in the video, the officer or officers have asked her to remove the hot pot from the stove. And she's in the process of doing that. Now, what you can't see right now is that red thing. That red thing is not the pot. That red thing is an oven mitt with them oven pads. And this is where she's about to pick up the pot and move it to the sink right over here. As you can see, there's not a lot of places to move it outside of that stove, so she brings it over to the sink. And apparently, in the process, she turns on the water, I guess to put more water in the pot. Maybe it's boiled down, I don't know. She turns on the water. Now, I want to play this a little bit at a time because I want to point out some things, and I don't want to play it again. Now, at this point, the officer with the body cam, he starts backing away. This officer, you see him right here, he doesn't move. He's not moving. He doesn't seem scared of that pot of hot water. The officer with the body cam is backing away. And she's asking him, where are you going? And he says, away from that pot of hot water. Right there. Right there. I'm a country boy. And we grew up going to church every Sunday. So this is a common phrase. It ain't no threat on anybody's life. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. You're basically trying to cast out the evil spirits in a person, in a thing, in the area. I done heard this many times growing up. And they're trying to turn this phrase into some type of threat. Now, when you watch the whole video, if you take the time, because it's about, 36 minutes, 14 seconds, when they're asking for her to present an ID, she asks one of the officers to hand her Bible. The whole time she's been talking to him, she's been saying, "Oh God, please help me. Oh God, please help." So something's going on, and more information will come out as the course of this investigation goes on about her day and what was going on and everything else. It's going to come out. This is just the beginning phases. You're going to see more and more stuff on the news trying to sway you this way or that way. In this video, and this is what I like about it, you just get the video and the audio. There ain't nobody trying to narrate the script about how you should feel about this. So you can take the time and watch this on your own without anybody else in your ear and just watch it for yourself. I'm only going to play but so much because I don't know the whole rules on YouTube and what they'll strike you for. Like I said, they shouldn't strike me for this because this should be official government documents, straight from the police. So I'm going to say it again, fair use for educational purposes only. I want to stop it right here again, and I want you to take notice of something. She's standing there with the pot of water, filling it up. When you listen to it, you can hear the water running in the background now. And I want you to notice this officer right here. This guy, the one that did the shooting, he's already got his hand on his gun. Not a taser. He didn't pull out some mace. It's a little woman, and these are two grown men with probably body armor on and all type of weaponry. And the first thing he does is reach for his damn gun. That's a problem. I've seen situations where people are armed with weapons, AKs strapped to them, and they don't pull out their gun. They sit there and they talk to them. This woman, at this point, is not a threat. All she said was, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus." I want to back it up a little bit. Just a little. There you go. That's all she said. And his response is, "You better not, or else I'm going to shoot you in your fucking face." For what? For what? She ain't done nothing yet. She's still standing there running water in this pot right here, trying to cool it down. I don't know. I assume trying to cool it down before she puts it into the sink. I don't know. But here she is running this water for this pot. And he feels his life is in such danger, he got to pull his damn pistol out already. You're supposed to be trained for situations like this. This is the point where if you feel threatened, maybe you should try to de-escalate the situation. The woman is unarmed. All she's got is a pot of water. The one officer, he backs away. If somebody is going to throw some water at you or some shit, backing away seems like the most reasonable thing to do. You see this officer here, he ain't moved. He ain't backed away. He don't seem scared of that pot of water at all. Let's keep going. Now he done aimed the gun at her and they're yelling at her to drop the fucking pot. And this hand right here, this is the officer with the body cam. He's reaching to get his weapon right. At this point, see if I can blow this up here a little bit. As you can see, this lady is ducked down already. She's behind the counter. She's apologized, saying I'm sorry, and she's already thrown her hands up and she's ducking down. Now on the second body cam, you'll get a better look. That's why I wanted, because the second body cam is the video I saw the first time I watched it. Let's continue. Now the second officer has his pistol pulled out. Both of them. This lady's done ducked down. She's behind the counter. And both of them got their guns aimed at her. This unarmed woman is in her nightgown. They've been standing there having a conversation. She come down. She sits down. She's not armed. She has no weapons on her. She's got a couple oven mitts in her hand. And I'll be able to show you that later on when we watch the second video. No hesitation. Just shoots her. Just straight up shoots her. And I can see why the news plays this clip. Because in this video footage, you don't really see what the lady is doing. You just hear the officers yelling, drop the fucking pot, drop the fucking pot. Now in the next clip, you'll see she ain't even had that pot in her hand. You'll see that. Shots fired, shots fired. Drop the fucking pot. She's already down, you already shot her, and now you still screaming, drop the fucking pot. Don't that sound like drop the damn gun? Drop the fucking gun when a person ain't even got a gun? When a person already on the ground and you just keep screaming, drop the gun? Those are phrases to protect themselves from what's going to happen after they done shot this person. So that they can sit there and say, I feared for my safety. I was scared for my life. For real. See how long it takes him to even call for EMS? That's too much time. You should have been calling for EMS right away. First of all, before you even get that far, you didn't shoot the wound to disable. You didn't pull out your taser. Both of y'all just pull out a damn gun. First thing you plan to do was shoot. And I gotta say this. For a lot of these types of people, like white boys like this, I say that because not all white people are like this. It's a lot of them out here that are. They don't see us as regular people. This has been done through years of indoctrination and programming and upbringing and everything else. Even the politicians calling us jungle bunnies and monkeys and saying we live in a jungle or in a zoo. They don't see us as regular people like them. We seen as less than, worthless, useless. It's all right if you shoot them because they're bound to do something wrong anyway, right? They're bound to have some type of criminal record or something else, right? So in a situation like this, you can go ahead and shoot them. It's okay. Female. Headshot wounded female, 1078. Now the one officer, he's going fuck because he didn't turn his body cam on. Like, oh, my bad. Luckily, we got this one body cam showing, and we can see what happened. Now comes in the whole remorse part, where they play this role where I didn't really mean to do it. It was an accident, you know. I feared for my safety. She was threatening me with a pot of boiling water. All this other stuff, right? And from this angle, if this is the only one we had, you could probably get away with that. I'm gonna go get my kit. The officer with his body cam wants to go get his medical kit to give her medical assistance. And the officer without his cam on says, nah, she's done. Don't even worry about it. The officer without the body cam on does not render any aid, any assistance, just waiting for her to fade away. See, you hear him say it's a headshot. Now it's all, God damn it, why'd I do that? Oh man, you made me do it. No, she ain't make you do shit. You did what you wanted to do. And you'll see that more clearly in this second part.
God, fuck. Yeah, I'm not saying fucking boring all over his fucking head. And look, it fucking came right to our feet, too.
You hear him? That's his excuse. It came right to our feet. It was almost there. After you shot her, somehow the boiling water almost still hit your ass, huh? In the face, huh? It came right to my feet. The water came all the way to my feet.
God damn it.
Now, ain't that ironic? Now they want to call on God. After this lady was just calling on Jesus and God to help her in this situation, they shoot her in the face and now they want to call on God. Ain't that a bitch?
God damn it. You good? I'm good. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Let her fucking just... God, there's nothing we can do, man.
You hear him? Just let her go. Ain't nothing they can do. Just let her go. That's what the officer without his body cam says. Just let her go. Both these motherfuckers is implicit. Both of them pull their guns, and the second officer with his cam on, he backs up the first officer. So they don't neither one of them get a pass. I just want to show you how evil this motherfucker right here is. What the intent of this motherfucker right here was. This wasn't no damn accident. This wasn't no mistaken. Like, oh, I thought she would, and you'll see. I do want to show you this. The officer with his body cam, he is the one that renders some type of aid to this lady. You can hear the water. He's the one that renders some type of aid to this lady, and you can hear the water running in the background. Because she turned on the faucet to put some cooler water in that boiling pot of water. Now, I want to fast forward at this point. Think I got it right about here. See, body worn camera number 2. This is the one with no sound to it, just the video. So, and why is it important? Because it gives you a different angle from the first body cam. The first body cam, you get a lot of his arm in the way. This second body cam, his arms are not in the way. You get to see this a little bit better. I'm going to just let it play because it picks it up right before she gets shot. Now you see her standing there, and I want to do something. I want to blow this up right here so you can see this. Because this is what I saw. This is the footage I got a good look at. Now at this point, both the officers got their weapons drawn, and she's already starting to duck down. This red thing right here, there appears to be a pot holder. See, she's got it in her hand now, and you see the pot of hot water still sitting on the sink. It's still sitting there. She's no threat. What she got? She gonna hit you with the oven mitts? Is that what she gonna do? That's why you feared for your life at this point? At this point, did you have to shoot her? At this point, you couldn't have pulled out your taser, sprayed some mace? In no way, shape, form, or effort did they try to defuse this situation. Right there, you saw it, but I want to back it up a little bit. See, she's already ducking down. They done pulled the guns on her, and she's ducking down. The pot is still on the sink. She ain't got the pot in her hands. Now, remember in the first video, the first one, body cam, they screaming the whole time, put the pot down. Even after they shot her, they screaming, put the pot down. That's important. So they wasn't worried about that pot. They was worried about saving themselves. That's all. This is the part, and I know it went to full screen right there, but this is the part I wanted to show you. She throws both her hands up in the air, and you see the red oven mitt, and then she's got another oven mitt in this hand. And you see what's sitting right here? That pot of water they scared of. Still sitting on the sink. She ain't been shot yet. She ain't even got a chance to duck all the way down yet. Now she's ducked all the way down and the pot is still sitting on the sink. Begging for her life, calling on Jesus. Now she pops back up and you can't really see her here. This is when the shots get fired. She ducks down, hands above her head, ducks down behind the counter. What else is she supposed to be doing? What else she gonna do? Put her hands up and she ducks down. She gets down on the ground. And they're still screaming, drop the fucking water. Now, this officer is not the one that shoots her. It's the other officer, the one that's not wearing his body cam. You would have got a much better look at what was going on if he had his body cam on. There's a reason his body cam ain't on. Right then, when he shakes, that's when the shots get fired. Now he backs up and he's calling it in. She's already down. That's why they got the blurry part. She's already down at this point. Now the pot of water is not on the sink anymore. Was she standing up? Did she knock it down?
I was on.
Now he turns the audio on.
No, yeah, dude, she's done.
And now that I'm looking at it, this might be, no, this is still the second officer though.
You can go get it, but that's a headshot. God damn it. God, fuck. Dude, I'm not taking fucking boiling water to the fucking head. And look, it fucking came right to our feet too. God damn it.
Okay. I think I might have got that one wrong. Maybe this is the second officer's body cam. Because apparently, I think what happens is they start recording for like 30 seconds with no audio. Before that audio kicks in. I'm looking at the arm and the tattoo, unless they both have the tattoos on them. She's already down, and they're still screaming, drop the fucking pot. The pot's got to be on the floor by now.
Bring EMS now. We got a headshot wounded the female. Headshot wounded.
All right, they switch positions. I think that's what they switch positions. So in the second one, yeah, in the second one, see, this is the officer that shoots. He's standing to the left of the first body cam. So he clicks his on right before the shooting. Except you can't really see her because his arm is in the way. So maybe they both have just one camera on. Yeah, I think this is the first officer here. He clicks his body cam on, and that's when it starts recording. It records like the first 30 seconds before you actually turn it on. So you see her standing there, and she's taking her hands off the pot of water. And she's ducked down with the oven mitts in her hand. And this is when the shots get fired. Maybe she knocked the pot off as she fell down. Don't know. Can't see it. The thing is, once she's ducked down behind that counter and got her hands in the air, ain't no reason to shoot this woman. Ain't no reason to end this woman's life. And the thing about it that gets me the most is she called out on Jesus this whole time. She was calling for God and calling for Jesus this whole time. And that should let you know Jesus ain't got no power in this place. People want to say that she called on Jesus and that brought out the demon in him. That demon was already in him. He is the demon to shoot that woman like that, unarmed. And I can almost guarantee there's going to be somebody that pops up talking about this woman had a criminal record, this woman did this in the past, this woman did that in the past, something to throw her name in the dirt to make her look bad, and then they're going to talk about this police officer in a good light. He go to church on Sunday. He's a family man. He coaches on the soccer team. He does something to make it seem like this whole thing was justified and it was just a mistake. This wasn't no mistake. You don't make mistakes like that. He could have had the taser out. He could have done something else different because he's a trained professional, supposed to be a trained professional. And how do I see this happening? Because this has happened before. They did this with George Floyd. I'm going to tell you what, man. Like, with the George Floyd thing, I watched the trial of what happened. The trial of the cashier who actually called the police, who found the fake 20 on him, figured out it was a fake 20 and called the police. And it was actually his manager that gave him the choice. Either put the 20 in there or you call the police. And he chose to call the police instead of putting $20 in there. And during the trial, the man broke down and said he wished he had never done it, because if he hadn't called the police, George Floyd would still be alive. And what did they do with George Floyd? You had Candace Owens come out talking about, well, he's got a long criminal record. He deserved it. People were looking for a reason to side with the police after watching that dude put his knee on his neck. And people going to do the same thing with this right here. After seeing this dude shoot this unarmed woman, people going to be looking for a reason to side with the police. I had family members that wanted a reason to side with the police, and Candace Owens gave them one. All of a sudden, they felt good about the police shooting. It didn't scare them no more. It was, oh, he deserved that, because she said he had a criminal record. And with the George Floyd thing, here's the thing. There was a guy that came into the store before George Floyd ever got there, and he came in with that fake 20. And when the cashier was there, he saw it was a fake 20 and just gave it back and made the dude leave the store. So when George Floyd pulls up, that same dude gave Floyd the fake 20 to go buy something for him. And the cashier said he was having such a good conversation with George Floyd that he never paid attention to the 20 while he was in the store. It wasn't until after he left the store he realized it was a fake 20, and that's when they called the police. So in the beginning, George Floyd didn't even know what was going on at first. And the dude that actually had the fake 20, didn't nothing happen to him from what I know. Nothing happened. And all these people sided with the police, and it was a whole campaign to back the blue because this dude had this criminal record. Even though he hadn't done anything wrong in that situation, anything that deserved him to be choked out like that, and that's a whole nother issue. when I was younger, learning about the history of black people in this country and some of the awful things that have happened, people used to always tell me, look, you got to learn what's going on, except you can't let that anger sit in your heart. You can't be angry about it. You got to learn the history and learn what's going on, except don't let that anger sit in your heart. And I watched videos of people telling stories about lynchings, read books, saw the pictures, and I thought to myself, that was so long ago. I don't think I'll see a man get lynched until I saw George Floyd. That was a public lynching. And they let that thing play on video over and over for everybody to see. That wasn't nothing but a modern day public lynching. And then, after the fact, after he was dead, they came up with the excuse that because he had drugs in his system, that this would have happened to him anyway. That officer's knee on his neck, this was their excuse. Now, it didn't fly and that officer went to jail, but this was their excuse, that it was Floyd's fault because he had done drugs, supposedly. Now, I've seen some crazy stuff in these autopsy reports, the way how they explain things away. And that's what happens. The cops are in these public modern day lynchings, the cops are called and the coroner rules it a suicide. There was a guy not long ago, a few years back. I'm in North Carolina, and I want to say this guy was somewhere around High Point, I think. I don't remember exactly where. He was a high school student, and he had a game on Friday, and he had gone running Thursday night like he usually does. He had on some brand new Jordans, apparently, some nice shoes on. I want to say they were like brand new Jordans. He went running in. He never came home. When they found him hanging from a swing set near a trailer park. And it was so high up, the top bar for the swing set was so high up, they were like, there's no way he climbed up there and did this himself. He couldn't have. And on top of that, the brand new shoes he had on, they were gone. On his feet were some shoes with no laces in them that was 2 sizes too small, and they were on the wrong feet. They were on backwards. And you know what happened? Coroner ruled it a suicide. Said he did it to himself. He's not the only one. Over the years, I've heard these stories repeat. People get found hanging. Oh, they decide to go all the way out here and do it to themselves out here. In places where they couldn't have done it to themselves. And why do I bring up the coroner's report? Because in the Mike Brown incident, all the eyewitnesses said Mike Brown put his hands up and was walking back to the police officer, and the cop just shot him anyway. And as he fell, he took one to the top of the head. It was a construction crew that was from out of state that had seen the incident, and they were giving their report. A bunch of white guys were saying this, that he didn't even do nothing wrong for the cop to shoot him like that. So in the autopsy report, when I read it, I wanted to see how they were going to justify the bullet holes in his armpits and the bullet hole in the top of his head. And you know how they did it? They basically said that Mike Brown charged the officer with his head down. Charged him with his head down now, swinging his arms like this, and that's how he got the bullet holes in his armpits and in the top of his head. Which don't even make sense. But because The coroner said it, and it's the official report. That's what people went with. That's what people said, okay, that must be the way it happened. And then you got people like this Candace Owens who came up whose career was fucking dead when George Floyd happened. And there had been another instance where a guy was on his way home, and there was a situation that happened with a female officer, and she ended up shooting him when he had done nothing wrong. And it came out that he had a criminal record, and it was like, oh, okay, it's all right, because he had this big criminal record. It didn't matter that he had changed his life around. I want to say he had a wife and children. He was in school at the time and had a job. None of that mattered. All they looked at was, oh, he had a criminal record, so it was all right for him to get shot. It was no big deal. Let's back the blue. Then you got Tamir Rice, the little boy that was shot in, I want to say, it was in Illinois. I want to say Chicago. I don't know, it's been a while. I'm not going to look him up right now, but you can look up Tamir Rice. He was outside at a playground at like in the middle of the night, something like 1, 2 in the morning. And the cop comes up to him and within seconds shoots him dead. And the whole situation looked bad, and people were like, oh, we couldn't believe it. There was a big outcry for it. And then it came out that his parents had criminal backgrounds, criminal records. So it was like, oh, he was going to grow up to be like his parents anyway, so it's all right. It don't matter. If you can watch this video here and see this woman standing in this kitchen, not doing a thing. This is her when they were asking for her ID, right before they asked her to get this pot of water off the stove over here. If you can see this and have no remorse about it, got no feelings about it, you're a person I don't want to be around. She grabbed the oven mitts to take the pot of hot water off the stove. And you can see this woman get shot like this, and you ain't got no remorse, no feeling about her. Well, she should have did this and she should have did that. She's complying. If she did something different, now she's not complying. Ain't that what people always say? They don't comply. They not doing what they told. She did what she was told to do. The officer didn't like the fact that she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That was it. That was all it took. And that's all it took. And he's already got his hand on his gun ready to shoot. Black women raised, $1.3, $1.5 million for Kamala Harris in a matter of hours. How much money they gonna raise for this woman right here? Kamala Harris didn't even claim to be black for the last 4 years. She claimed to be black and went to a HBCU and was an AKA before the last election. And they had all these black women out there wearing chucks and pearls. Excuse me. Even though they wasn't in that fraternity, still wearing the pink and green, supporting her. And as soon as they won the election, excuse me, she was no longer black. Now she was all these other races. You remember the platinum plan that 45 had? 45 is Trump. I don't like calling them by their names. They got numbers. 45 is Trump. 46 is Biden. 44 is Obama. And he got a special name. He the drone strike king. Do your research. You'll understand why he's a drone strike king. 45 claim to have this plan, this platinum plan for black people. And what the Democrats say? Oh, we got our own plan. We just not going to tell you what it is. And as soon as she got elected, what she say? I'm not doing nothing just for black people. Any plan I have is going to be for everybody. It ain't going to be nothing just for black people, which your whole campaign was based on. So she done spent the last 4 years not being black. She's all these other things. I'm not just black. I'm all this. I'm this and that too. Black is just a small piece of what I was or what I am. Now it's election time again. What is she? She black again, right? And got all these black women gathered up to support her because they don't want to support 45. Now, 45 is a piece of shit too. He's a racist piece of shit too. He got ties to the Klan itself. David Dukes was able to call him in the White House while he was there and talk to him. And if you don't know who David Dukes is, do your research. David Dukes was a Klan leader who became a politician and did not give up his Klan affiliation. Maybe on paper, he was no longer that same leader, except he still ran in the same circles. He still had the same contacts. Remember Charlottesville? That was all during 45's time, during his campaign. All those folks came up in Charlottesville with the tiki torches, talking about they will not replace us. The Jays will not replace us. The Jays will not replace us. Yeah. These guys are playing this game. And I can guarantee you, both these sides are going to use this to their advantage. This is all political. We ain't had nothing like this happen since, what was it? The 4 black cops that beat up, what was his name? Tyrone Nichols, I think. The 4 black cops that beat him to death. That was years ago. We ain't seen nothing like this since. We ain't had no riots and no protests in the last 4 years. Watch what happens now. Watch and see don't this piece of shit get off. Watch and see don't qualified immunity work in his favor. They say he'd been fired from the sheriff's department. Look at his record. I've heard that he's been at 6 different departments in the last 4 years. There's a reason for that. Ain't just cause he like to switch around to different jobs. Apparently he is ex-military and he got discharged for bad behavior. I'm not sure the exact term, but bad behavior. I ain't really dug too much into him yet. It took me long enough just to sit here and watch this video so I can sit here and talk to y'all about it. And a lot of people have had their own opinion and want to defend the cops and won't watch the video. Talk about how they got a hard job to do when they had to do it and this and that. Anybody that got an opinion like that and refusal, and you want to back the police after some shit like this, you a piece of shit just like that cop. Just like the cop that shot her. And I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want to be around you. I don't want nobody to think I'm associated with you. Because I don't want nobody to think I'm like you. I don't want what you got going on to rub off on me. I don't want it. Ain't no need for me to be around it. If you can be that ignorant and don't think for yourself, that's a dangerous person to be around. Somebody that can just be controlled by the media and what other people say and what other people's opinions are, and you go along with them because you want to be liked and you want to be around. Got nothing. I ain't got nothing for you. I ain't got nothing for you. Just go the other way. And the thing about this shit the most, that sticks to me the most, is this lady was asking for her Bible, was calling out on God and Jesus the whole time they was talking to her. And this what happened to her. And if that don't let you know that Jesus and God ain't got no damn power in this, not the God you think, not the Jesus you think, because I guarantee he going to be sitting up there talking. His defense is going to be, I'm a good Christian and I do this and I do that. I go to church on Sunday and pay my tithes and I look out for the sports teams and all this other shit. I guarantee it. This shit happens over and going to be in court crying with the sad face. Family going to be sitting there with the sad face. Like he ain't mean to do it. Shit, bullshit. That motherfucker meant to do that shit. He knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. And here's the kicker. Here's the real killer. At the end of it, after he shoots this lady, he sits there and says, she was coming at me with a pot of boiling water. We all seen the pot of boiling water sitting on the sink. She wasn't coming at you with shit when you shot her. She wasn't coming at you with a motherfucking thing. She threw her hands up and she ducked down. That's going to be his defense. And his partner going to go along with it. Yeah, she was coming at him with a pot of boiling water, even though we sitting here looking at this video. That's what they going to do. That's why I can't, anybody making up excuses for this shit, don't even talk to me, man. We ain't even on the same wavelength. You can keep saying this shit right here and it's okay with you and oh, it's just the way it is. Well, she should have done this and she should have done that. She took her hands off the pot and she ducked down. She threw them up in the air. What else are you supposed to fucking do? All she said was, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. That sound like a threat? Or that sounds like somebody calling on the Lord? That sounds like a threat. When he says, I'll shoot you, you better not, or I'll shoot you in your fucking face. And then he goes and he shoots her in the fucking face. That sounds like premeditated murder. But he planned to shoot this woman in the face, and I'm going to shoot her in the face. So you shot her in the face. That sounds like a threat. That sounds like premeditated murder. I guarantee you they're going to flip and switch this shit all types of ways around and try to make this woman look like the bad person in this situation. Like she was about to do something. I guarantee you. Even though you sitting here looking at it. Remember the Rodney King beating? We all sat there and watched them cops beat the shit out of Rodney King with them sticks. And then they went to court and they broke that videotape down piece by piece. And every time he lifted his arm up, oh, see, he trying to fight back. Every time he lifted a leg up, oh, he trying to kick the officer. He trying to stand up. He wasn't down yet. He wasn't under control yet. They was doing what they had to do. And I'm not mistaken, all them officers got the fuck off. After we all sat there and watched them beat the shit out of Rodney King. I really don't expect this shit to be any different. As far as in the courts, I really don't expect this shit to be any different. Some slight slap on the wrist. Remember the lady that the officer claimed that she went to the wrong, claimed that she thought she was in her apartment and ended up in another guy's apartment. And then later on you found out, oh yeah, they used to be in a relationship. And then the first call she made wasn't to the police or for help or anything. It was to her new boyfriend at the time. And in court, instead of getting like a 20-year sentence like she's supposed to get, I think she got 10, and the judge wanted to give her a Bible. Remember that? And wanted a hug and shit. The bailiff sitting there stroking her hair, trying to talk, said, I was searching it, but when you watch it, that's not how you search somebody's hair for something. It looked like you were stroking her hair and making sure it was like it's in the right place, like giving them a pat, like, it's okay, baby, it's okay. And that lady sit in court and just cried her little ass off. And ended up with a way lighter sentence for shooting that man while he's sitting in his own house. She came into his house and shot his ass and called him the intruder. And that was it. Like I said, man, if you can defend this shit in any way, shape, or form, man, you's a piece of shit. And I don't want to be around you. I don't want nothing to do with you. Please stay the fuck away from me. For real. And this shit ain't over with. This right here, this is just the beginning. This gonna spark a whole nother wave of shit going on. And I don't know if this is just one of those things that happen or it's something deeper than that. To me, it appears to be something deeper than that. Something way deeper. I ain't gonna get into all my theories right now, but when in your spare time, you watch this. You watch this whole interaction, the way this lady is speaking from start to finish with these people after she done called for help. And that's what happened. She got shot in the face. After she did what they wanted her to do. You understand that? They always talking about non-compliance. What if all she did was turn off the stove and they would have been like, we said get the pot of water off the stove. It'd have been some non-compliance shit. You're not doing what you're told. They ain't even worried about tasing her or macing her or nothing else. Just straight, let's shoot her in the face. After she done ducked down and threw her hands up. Let's shoot her in the face. If you so scared of that pot of water, why you keep walking towards her? This dude right here that wasn't scared, he was the one that drew his weapon first. His partner backed him up on this. Standing over here, his partner backed him up on it. This the one that drew his weapon first. And all they doing is talking right now, and you see his hand on his gun. That's an itchy trigger finger. That's a motherfucker ready to pull his gun out. This is literally... I'm going to upload Bro Sanchez video to my channel because he goes in much deeper on the military aspect and on the police side of what was going on with this, on his opinion and whatnot. And even breaks down the whole tattoo on his arm. If you didn't notice, the tattoo that the guy holding her head, he had a tattoo on his arm. So he goes into the whole symbolism behind the tattoo and whatnot. There's something deeper at play here. Just off of this shit, this motherfucker was wrong as hell. This motherfucker was wrong as hell for what he did. He wrong as hell right now for having that hand on his gun. You could have pulled out you stand is a counter between the two of y'all, and all she got is a pot of water. And call it boiling water. Say she is strong enough to throw that big ass pot of boiling water across the room. When she ducked down, that shit was not in her hands. When you shot her, that shit was not in her hands. Except y'all kept screaming, put the pot of water down. You see what I'm saying? All I want to know is, when is enough going to be enough? When we going to stop looking the other way and siding with these motherfuckers just because? Do you even know what the slave patrol was? The slave patrol would go around hunting down runaway slaves. And if they saw black people walking down the street, they would stop them and want their papers. And their papers might have consisted of permission from they owners, they masters, to go into town to pick up some stuff. It might have been papers that's been signed that already gave them their freedom. And in some cases, they tear that shit up and throw them in jail, and they end up right back in damn slavery again. And the slave patrol just ended up becoming law enforcement. Look at the badges. Look up slave patrol badges and look up sheriff badge. That's all you got to do. Most people ain't gonna look up there, ain't gonna do no research. A lot of people ain't gonna watch these videos. They gonna automatically side with these police officers. I'm sick of this shit, dog. I'm sick of this shit. Anybody siding with this shit without doing no due diligence to damn at least research and find out what happened and just want to go off the opinion of other people and how you feel about the police, fuck you. Fuck you and the horse you rode in on. You can watch this and you ain't got no, it don't hit you in a certain way. Seeing this shit go down, this woman is in her own home in her nightgown that called the police for help, and she ended up getting shot in the fucking face after doing what she was told to do. After calling on the name of Jesus. That shit's sad, man. For those of you waiting for me to do a breakdown of where the Bible and Christianity came from, that's gonna be the next video. I couldn't do it right now. I had to do this one first. This shit hurt me, man. Cause like I said, I see my grandma, I see my auntie in the kitchen cooking. And something happened in the middle of the night and they called the police for help, and this the way the shit ends. Man, this motherfucker need to be put under the damn jail. More than likely he'll get off and he'll be able to get another job as a law enforcement officer somewhere. Somebody will pick him up. They literally picking up these motherfuckers. You remember Sheriff Hagee? If you from North Carolina and you around my age, remember Midway and Sheriff Hagee? The Spider Car, the whole DARE program back in the day. Oh, man. They the first ones that taught me about drugs. Going to the damn DARE program. I didn't know what none of that shit was until they told me. That was shit that didn't really get discussed around my way. It was out of sight, out of mind for me. Until I was in the DARE program. And him with his decked out Spider Car and all that. And when he finally got caught up for all this shit, what'd he do? He threw himself on his own sword. He said, look, I'll take the blame for everything and all this other shit. Just don't investigate my officers. And you know what happened to them officers he had? The whole department was dirty, come to find out. The whole department was dirty. Everybody was in on it. Everybody in that department was in on it. You know what happened to them? They got split up and they got moved around. They got sent to Charlotte. They got sent to Winston. They got sent to Greensboro, to Burlington, to fucking Raleigh. They still had jobs. And to take it a step further, Burlington, a few years, it's been more than a few years, maybe damn near a decade at this point. They got caught up because they had been locking up Hispanics, harassing and locking up Hispanic folk that didn't know their rights and couldn't speak English and whatnot for no reason until they locked up the wrong dude. And this dude, his family was looking for him. And when they couldn't find him after a couple of weeks, they sent a lawyer looking for him. Come to find out, they had him sitting in jail with no charges. He'd been sitting there all this damn time. And the whole lid got blown off of that shit. And I didn't follow up on the case. I bet all them law officers, most of them kept their jobs. Maybe not that particular one. They ended up in law enforcement somewhere. That's how it worked. That's how this dude can go from department in the last 4 years. And still right here holding the gun and the badge. And shot this lady in the face. Come on, man. One day enough is going to be enough for some folk, man. And you're going to stop defending this shit just because you want to be liked. Just because you want to back the blue. And I got some law enforcement people who I know, man, and they probably not going to like this video. They probably not going to like it. If you can see this type of shit and know the shit that goes on around you and be silent, you part of the problem too. You part of the problem too. You ain't did your homework on what the slave patrol was and how they act, and you still running around here doing the same shit they did back then, you part of the problem. And shit like this is going to continue to happen. Because won't nobody stop and be like, hold up, wait, that shit was wrong as hell. That shit shouldn't be done. I'm surprised he already fired. Usually they just put these motherfuckers on administrative leave for a little while. Or put them down on the desk for a little while. Instead of letting them out on the street. Until next time.